All right, let's dive right in. We're going to break down one of the most fundamental ideas in programming, how a computer program actually communicates. We're talking about basic input and output in Python.
I mean, have you ever really thought about it? Every single app on your phone, every game you play, it's all interacting with you. It has to show you stuff, and it has to get information from you. So, how does that conversation actually work under the hood?
Well, the answer is actually really simple. You just have to think of it like a conversation. The program outputs information to you, and it takes input from you. And in Python, these two sides of the chat are handled by a couple of core functions that we are about to master.
So, let's start with the first half. How does the program talk? What's its voice? In the world of Python, that voice is the print function.
At its core, print is super straightforward. You just give it something inside those parentheses, could be text, could be a number, heck, it could even be a calculation like 2 plus 3, and boom, it shows the result on the screen. This is your number one tool for letting the user know what's going on inside your code.
But don't let its simplicity fool you. Print has some cool tricks up its sleeve. See, by default, it just sticks a space between items and then jumps to a new line when it's finished. But we can totally change that. Using sep, that's short for separator, we can tell it to put anything we want between items, like a hyphen to format a date perfectly. And with end, we can tell it, hey, don't jump to a new line, which is awesome for things like a loading message that ends with done on the same line.
Now, if you want the real game changer for formatting your output, you gotta know about f-strings. You just pop an F right before the quote mark. This lets you literally drop your variables right inside the text using these curly braces. It's so much cleaner, way more readable, and honestly, it's the way professionals get it done.
Okay, time for a little challenge. Let's see if you've got this. Using just one single print statement, how would you create this exact rocket countdown on one line? Come on, think about what we just saw. How do you control what goes in between all those numbers?
And there you have it. The secret sauce is the set parameter. You just set the separator to that little arrow string, and print does all the heavy lifting for you, sticking it between every single item. So elegant, right? A powerful one-liner.
Okay, so we've nailed down the program's voice, but a conversation is a two-way street. So let's flip to the other side, the program's ears. In Python, that's the input function.
And input is, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It literally pauses your entire program, shows a little message if you want it to, and just waits. It's listening for you, the user, to type something in and hit the enter key. This is the magic that makes a program feel alive and interactive.
Now listen up, because this is the single most important, absolutely critical thing you have to remember about input function. No matter what the user types, I don't care if they type the number 123. Input always gives it back to your program as a string, a piece of text. Python sees quotes around that 123, it doesn't see the number 123.
So keeping that critical point in mind, let's play a little game of guess the output. What do you think is going to happen here? We ask for the user's age, they type in a number, and then we try to add 5 to it. What's the result? Is this going to work?
And the answer is an error. A type error, to be specific. And look, Python isn't just being difficult, it's actually being really logical. It's telling you, hey, you can't do math with a piece of text and a number. That just doesn't make sense. It's a feature, not a bug, protecting you from weird results.
So how do we fix this? How do we get Python to understand that the text 25 should be treated like the number 25? Well, what we need is a translator. And in the programming world, we call this typecasting.
Typecasting is really just you, the programmer, taking control and telling Python exactly what to do. You take that string you got from input and you say, hey Python, I know this looks like text, but I need you to convert it into a number so I can do some math with it. And for that, here are our two main translators. To get a whole number, an integer, you just wrap your input function inside of int, O-N-T. If you need a number with a decimal point, you wrap it inside float. It's that direct. It's how you get the exact data type you need for the job.
But what if you need to grab multiple things at once, like two numbers on the same line? Easy. You just add .split to the end of your input. So here's what happens. First, input grabs the whole line of text, 10, 20. Then .split comes in and breaks it apart right at the space, giving you a list of text pieces. And finally, Python hands out those pieces to your variables one by one. But remember, they're still strings at this point.
Okay, we've got all the pieces of the puzzle. We know how the program talks, we know how it listens, and we know how to translate what it hears. So let's put it all together and solve a real-world problem.
So here's our scenario. A cashier needs to quickly calculate a total bill. Step 1, we get the two values on one line and we use .split to break them apart. Step 2, and this is the crucial part, we do our typecasting. Quantity becomes an int, price becomes a float. Step 3, now that they're proper numbers, we can do our math. And finally, step 4, we use a nice clean F string to print the final result for the cashier. That's it, the full cycle. Input, process, and output.
And that's really the heart of basic I/O in Python. It's the foundation for every single interactive program you'll ever build. It reminds me of what the great B.B. King once said, "The beautiful thing about learning is that nobody can take it away from you." Keep on building, and thanks for joining me.